The highway wound through long stretches of empty scrubland. Once in a while we'd pass a rancher's truck or a family's SUV, and the driver would get wide-eyed when he saw me, a black kid swinging a sword on the back of an RV. I'd just smile and wave, and Khufu's driving soon left them in the dust. After an hour of practice, my shirt was stuck to my chest with cold sweat. My breathing was heavy. I decided to sit and take a break. "It approaches," Horace told me. His voice sounded more substantial, no longer in my head. I looked next to me and saw him shimmering in a golden aura, sitting back in the other chair, in his leather armor with sandaled feet upon the railing. His sword, a ghostly copy of my sword, was propped next to him. "What's approaching?" I asked. "The fight with Set?" "That, of course," Horace said. "But there's another challenge before that, Carter. Be prepared." "Great! As if I didn't have enough challenges already." Horace's silver and gold eyes glittered. "When I was growing up, Set tried to kill me many times. My mother and I fled from place to place, hiding from him until I was old enough to face him. The Red Lord will send the same forces against you. The next will come." "At a river," I guessed, remembering my last soul trip. "Something bad is going to happen at a river. But what's the challenge?" "You must beware." Horace's image began to fade, and the god frowned. "What's this? Someone is trying to... a different force?" He was replaced by the glowing image of Zia Rashid. "Zia!" I stood up, suddenly conscious of the fact that I was sweaty and gross and looked like I'd been dragged through the land of the dead. "Carter?" Her image flickered. She was clutching her staff and wore a gray coat wrapped over her robes as if she were standing somewhere cold. Her short black hair danced around her face. "Thank Thoth I found you." "How did you get here?" "No time. Listen, we're coming after you. Desjardins, me, and 2 others. We don't know exactly where you are. Desjardins' tracking spells are having trouble finding you, but he knows we're getting close, and he knows you're going... Phoenix." My mind started racing. "So he finally believes Set is free? You're coming to help us?" Zia shook her head. "He's coming to stop you." "Stop us? Zia, Set's about to blow up the continent. My dad..." My voice cracked. I hated how scared and powerless I sounded. "My dad's in trouble." Zia reached out a shimmering hand, but it was just an image. Our fingers couldn't touch. "Carter, I'm sorry. You have to see Desjardins' point of view. The House of Life has been trying to keep the gods locked up for centuries to prevent something like this from happening. Now you've unleashed them." "It wasn't my idea." "I know, but you're trying to fight Set with divine magic. Gods cannot be controlled. You could end up doing even more damage. If you let the House of Life handle this..." "Set is too strong," I said, "and I can control Horus. I can do this." Zia shook her head. "It'll get harder as you get closer to Set. You have no idea." "And you do?" Zia glanced nervously to her left. Her image turned fuzzy like a bad television signal. "We don't have much time. Mel will be out of the restroom soon." "You've got a magician named Mel?" "Just listen. Desjardins is splitting us up into 2 teams. The plan is to cut you off on either side and intercept you. If my team reaches you first, I think I can keep Mel from attacking long enough for us to talk. Then maybe we can figure out how to approach Desjardins. To convince him we have to cooperate." "Don't take this the wrong way, but why should I trust you?" She pushed her lips, looking genuinely hurt. Part of me felt guilty, while part of me worried that this was some kind of trick. "Carter, I have to tell you something that might help, but it has to be said in person." "Tell me now." "Thoth's beak, you're impossibly stubborn." "Yeah, it's a gift." We locked eyes. Her image was fading, but I didn't want her to go. I wanted to talk longer. "If you won't trust me..." "I'll have to trust you," Zia said. "I'll arrange to be in Las Cruces, New Mexico tonight. If you choose to meet me, perhaps we can convince Mel. Then together we'll convince Desjardins. Will you come?" I wanted to promise, just to see her, but I imagined myself trying to convince Sadie or Bass that this was a good idea. "I don't know, Zia." "Just think about it," she pleaded. "And Carter, don't trust Amos. If you see him..." Her eyes widened. "Mel's here," she whispered, and then Zia slashed her staff in front of her, and her image vanished.